Apothecary Diaries, Season 1, Episode 10. Looks like stars. It was stars. Someone else on the wall. Very dramatic. There's something much bigger brewing here, right? A much larger plot. Honey! Everyone seems convinced of this, and it's possible. It is suspicious, right? Oh, which younger concubine? Right. Yeah. And sort of aging out of the position. That's definitely their fear. This is true, yeah. I think one of the reasons why this sort of conversation can be difficult is because there's multiple things being conflated at the same time. A very general level, just in life, some games that we play are zero-sum and have winners and losers, bound to and confined by physical realities, and there's no, like, wishing them away. It's just they are what they are. And then there are other areas in which things can be greater than the sum of their parts, where the more you give, the more you get. Things are not competitive, they're more enduring, more eternal, but it gets a little bit weird when they get mixed up or one is being put in place for the other. So like, yeah, in the dating market, youth matters. And that's not even necessarily arbitrary. You know, like sometimes I see physical things being explained away by just the trends of the time, you know, like that was the beauty standard at the time. I think that's actually rarely the case. It seems to me that the beauty standards that fall into the category of passing trend are so minor and scarce as opposed to like just things that always endure. In this case, this is directly about child rearing, right? And so in a very understandable, concrete way, age matters there. And that is a big part of life, right? Actually, I think it's one of the most obvious, at least, most tangible ideas you can put forth for the meaning of human life, right? Just strictly biologically. So pretending like it doesn't matter doesn't really work, right? Like it does matter. But then that's also not the same thing as like your value as a human being, your worth as a person. And child rearing, having kids, is not the only way in which somebody can live a very rich, meaningful life. Like thinking about it, what is actually the contribution of having kids? It's a gift to humanity because you're keeping humanity alive. You're creating a being with infinite potential, theoretically, who can then go on to create children of his or her own that also have that same potential, etc., etc. So it's just one of like the most traceable gifts, the most biologically natural contributions one can make. But if we're treating benefiting humanity and contribution as the reason for being or a goal, there are so many ways that one can do that outside of the realm of childbirth. And one's value as a human being, one's worth, is so much more complex than one's ability to have children. If having children is something one really covets and cherishes, then yeah, as painful as it is, age seems to play a major role in that, and like youth is not permanent. In the palace system, that is a lot of pressure. This is everything. I mean, they're devoting their lives to this. And like I said before about the whole emperor system, this takes all of normal, natural human incentives that come out of reproduction and multiplies it by 1,000 just because of how concentrated it is. There's a strong enough biological imperative to have like one kid. But if you have the chance to be an emperor or have kids with the emperor, that means it's very likely your kids will have increased genetic success by like 1,000 to 10,000 fold. There's nothing even that comes close. So even if it doesn't seem like that would make an impact psychologically, I feel like that really does make an impact psychologically, especially as it plays out over a large group in an average. Oh, she's so sweet. To be so thankful for leftovers. Just like the garden party. What kind of minigame is this? Oh great, we gotta pretend like we like each other. That's interesting too. I mean, I've definitely experienced this. This is probably universal, right? Like, for example, let's say you're a guy and you see a group of girls being totally taken and smitten by some dude that to you is so obviously a creep. Like, you could see right through everything he's doing. I mean, part of it is probably jealousy, but there's another part of it that's insight where you're like, this is just an act. This whole thing's an act. It's a construct that hits upon exactly what they want to hear, and they don't have the same incentive structure, so it slips past their defenses a little bit. Only the competitors or rivals in the same game can see it because they're following the same incentive, so they know where that road leads, which also in a way is an admission of guilt, right? Like you wouldn't know it if you didn't possess this to a certain degree. And maybe what you're really upset about is that you didn't utilize it as masterfully as this person did. But there's definitely an awareness thing to that. Or like a girlfriend will tell me stories about some guy in their life and, it's so clear to me what they're doing. But then the reverse will also be true, right? Like to me, my female friends are just female friends, whatever. But it doesn't necessarily look the same to my girlfriends who are observing. Again, this is all anecdotal, but I've also thought about this with plastic surgery and makeup. There are some procedures here in Korea that seem fairly common, but personally, I don't think there's anything attractive about them. And in talking to some of my guy friends, there seems to be, at least in my small little world, a similar consensus about it. And yet the fact that it is at least sufficiently observable seems to create pressure in other girls to do it. So it's like, it doesn't really seem like it's male opinion led, if that makes sense. There's a little bit of like a runaway thing happening there, maybe.
得た情報は実家に送っているらしい。交易の中継地点らしく。
Right. This is partly her mission here, right?
掴むことが重要なんだろう。
She is like a foreign country diplomat in a sense.
園遊会の毒味役か。
You are right to be afraid of Maomao, but your guilt is a good sign. Yeah, she might be extra loyal from here on out.
今のところいじめをしているようには見えない。
Lay low for a bit.
報告が間違いだったなら幸いなことだ。
That, I think, shows where Maomao is, that she's relieved to be wrong. Maybe I misjudged her. She just seems like not in a good situation. She's just in over her head, which, like, I mean, given the history we know about her, this is not a world for kids. Honey. Looks delicious. That's sweet. It's the poison of kindness. What's wrong? Are you afraid? Oh. Oh, here comes the bullying. And they're just doing it out in the open? How does Maomao react? I mean, you can't really interrupt Lady Gokukyo, right? You can't interrupt this whole thing. Nice. Was that like a very subtle communication there? Wow, well done. She has a very, very sensitive immune system. Allergic system. Yeah, that was very blatant. They're very bold with it. I can rest after vengeance. He's meddling. And as we all know, meddling is the essence of being a hero. Stop it. The Jinshi version of that is touching is the essence of being a hero. Jinshi is running through these halls, touching people with a smile on his face. Right? I've heard that is a rumor, yeah. Yeah, exactly. She has her suspicions. There's not enough information. Also, there are counter signs too, like the fact that she was struggling for her life. I mean, you could change your mind mid-attempt, right? But something to consider. Maybe on orders from someone else. Totally unrelated, I'm sure. This is a direct order. Remember when I said I wouldn't let anything bad happen to you? Well, that's conditional on you doing what I say. And it feels a little bit dated. He just trusts Maomao to figure it out. Just put your nose to the ground. Oh, we finally meet. She's got to be a little bit suspicious that there's this new woman here. Androgynous, you say? Wait, is that super old? I mean, I guess for an emperor's concubine. She's practically a dinosaur. She invented rhododendron. Kind of like Jinshi. I might be suspicious at this point if they didn't mention she'd already had a kid. Speaking of like trends, I guess this is just the look of the times. Her and Jinshi. I think maybe she does. Yeah. Are they related? I don't see her really asking them for help. I mean, he works really hard, actually, if she's referring to Jinshi. I guess, like, paperwork is just wasted on him. She gets someone else to do that. Oh no, you're making yourself too valuable again. Maomao, the number one unwitting spy. Looks so comfortable. Well, I mean, it looks warm.
何をしろとも言われていない。だが。
Bless you. He doesn't want to influence her, I think. And he knows she'll figure it out if there's something to be figured out. Not quite our bed in the other palace. I feel like an important piece of information I would like, at least, is what happens to the concubines when the emperor determines they're no longer fit to be concubines. If there's a severe penalty attached to that, then, you know, maybe there's some misguided well-wishing trying to protect pure consort from whatever that is by eliminating a rival. Though, I mean, like, not super hard to imagine them just wanting to preserve this life.
適齢期はとうに過ぎているが、嫁いでいれば良妻にもなっただろう。結婚しようとは思わなかったのか。
Sounds like there's a story there.
アードー妃に生涯尽くすことを選んだのか。
Oh, okay. Speaking of service.
毒殺を行う理由にも
Right, and sacrificing all of her life for Lady Duo's life.
上級妃の立場が最も危ういのはアードー妃だ。
Right, there's obvious incentives here.
アードー妃のために毒殺を目論んだとして、リーシュ様を狙うのはおかしな話ではない。
Interesting. I guess Maomao is just speculating here or conjecturing, as she ought not to be doing. But part of it does sound like she's made up her mind, maybe just subconsciously. Or maybe it's just me. Or maybe this is all a red herring and there's some different reason. There was some slight or something.
誰か手伝ってくれない？
蜂蜜？
フォンミン様のご実家が
Honey again.
昨夜の甘い匂いは蜜蝋だったのか。
And we know that she's allergic to honey or can't eat honey for some reason.
そういえばお茶会で。
Maybe that's how she knows about the honey. She had it here. Oh, actually, maybe she's not allergic to honey. Maybe she just got poisoned here with honey and she just thought it was another allergy. Maybe we could test her allergy.
何を求めているのか知らないが、こちらは普通の薬屋だ。スパイの真似事などできるわけない。
I mean, you've already done
最
that.
近態度が軽くないか？
Maybe he's already figured it out. Maybe he's taking a different tact.
可能性があるとすれば、次女頭のフォンミン様ではないかと。
根拠は？
左の手首に包帯が巻かれていました。
She's the burn victim. You figured that out.
わざわざ何色もの炎を作る。何か意味があるとすれば、
Right.
暗号だ。
So this does connect somehow.
まあ、旧大点だな。
It also could be that she's just under orders to do whatever.
いい子にはご褒美をあげないとね。
No thanks.
遠慮します。
遠慮することはない。
No, not out of your fingers. This is awful. This is torture.
そういえばそういう変態だったな。
Speaking of being able to see through stuff.
話が通じない。お偉方でなければ股間を蹴って。いや、
Well,
ないものは蹴っても仕方ない。
yeah, not clear.
割り切るか。
I mean, it still hurt.
尊厳のため逃げ出すか。
Escape with your dignity. For the love of God, escape with your dignity always.
せめて鳥兜の蜜なら割り切れたのに。
Well, that triggered a
ものは嫌いじゃないかしら。
flashback or an insight. How does it connect to this?
蜂蜜？
フォンミン様のご実家が
Yes, it has something to do with honey. I have deduced that much.
うちの次女に何をしているの？
Thank you. Thank God.
玉葉妃、これは。
誰の許可を得てこんなことを？
Yes, on whose authority? Thank you so much.
シャオモついいたずらが過ぎただけなの
Don't
で
cover for him. Also, I like how we're going with the Xiaomao thing.
次はガオシュン様が眠れば問題ないかと。
This is your punishment. The punishment must fit the crime.
いくつか確かめたいことがあるのですが。
She's figured it out. She has a terrible, terrible hunch.
ジンシ様はいないの？
はい。
Try to hide your disappointment, why don't you?
食中毒になって受け付けなくなることは珍しくありません。
それ
What
は
happened?
違うわ。
You don't remember? What?
乳母たちにも食べるなと言われて。
Oh, interesting. Okay.
あなた、
There goes that
失礼じ
theory.
ゃなくて、リーシュ様
Shut
に
up.
ズケズケと。
Wait a minute. These are the bullies. These are the same women who almost killed her? That was your problem. Don't get too close to our target. Only we can give her psychological distress.
お茶会でかばいもしなかった次女がよく言う。
Right. Yes.
特妃であるリーシュ様に対して無礼ですわ。
What do they think they are? They think they are way too big for their
こうして
britches.
外部のものを悪役に仕立て、
Yeah, yeah,
自
this
分たちだけが
is
味
not
方と
friendship.
思い込ませるのか。
リーシュ様を
世間知らずなお嬢様なら、
They're parasites. They saw an opportunity. They took it.
私は命を受けてここに来ました。言いたいことがあれば、人士様に直接
Yeah, at least we could
どうぞ。
throw around Jinchi's name.
ザクロ級の次女頭。フォンミン様と面識はありますか？
Fear in her eyes. Just speculating, but maybe it's not about the age thing at all. Age threat. Maybe Li Shu was on the verge of uncovering something that they were doing in their plot to communicate with the outside. I don't know. There's so many different elements at the same time.
今度は一体何が分かったのか。賢い娘だ。 弱い17とは
Oh yeah, you forget that sometimes. She's only 3 years older than Li Shu.
17年前今の帝がまだ東宮だった頃アード王妃との間に男児を一人設けている
Okay.
東宮時代の子はその一人だけ妃もアード王妃だけだった
Okay.
今の帝とアード王妃は父兄弟とあるのでアード王妃に愛着があるのはわかるが
Wait, what? Come again? They're siblings. Foster siblings. I'm just gonna take that to mean they grew up together and are very close. So maybe a very special bond there. This is not your average, like, just making babies concubine. In that case, that's a pretty deep history.
親父がアード王妃一人だけとは意外だ16年前乳幼児死亡
You got
取り上げたの
jaded somewhere along the way. Dr. Luomin.
高級に数多く生えている薬草は私が昔からよく使っていたものばかりだ
For what?
誰かが移植したものだろう
Oh, we have a personal connection to this dude? Was it dad?
片足の膝の骨を抜かれた元
Former eunuch. This is so much information.
何やってんだよ
And that, I guess, explains his look at her when he found out she was in the palace, talking about fate and coincidences. He's involved. What is a former eunuch? Just curious.
親父
That's got some explaining to do. He's a weird character. He kind of reminds me of Bill in Kill Bill. Not just physically, but like there's something creepy about him. Crazy that she had this hunch just from the flowers too. Just from the burrito flower that he must have taken them there or something. If only we had known this before the trip home, could have been some great conversations happening there.